far out in front. And then I just saw this little ripple go across the river, and the boat was airborne. And the driver said he knew it as soon as he saw the ripple. That's all it takes when these boats are really aired out like that. They become a wing.
Yeah, and landed right on the tip of the sponson, tore it up pretty good. Yeah, and we got some orange smoke up already. But, the X-Insurance boat is
done.
Yeah, is done for this race. Probably making decisions, but I expect they'll probably put that boat back together. It was an impressive boat that they brought over from Abu Dhabi, MTI, that won the World Championship in 2015. Randy Sism at the lead of that team with Johnny Tomlinson, Gary Ballou in the cockpit. All-American team, too, All-American equipment with the team sponsor from Abu Dhabi. All right, we've got orange smoke. They're going to hold that boat in the center of the course. Coast Guard, thank you very much, is helping secure this course here on Veterans Day. It was an impressive flyover by the Sundowners from the United States Navy at Naval Air Station Boca Chica. Thank you very much, and we salute you all, the men and women of our services and those that have served as well. Live coverage of the 42nd Annual Key West World Championships is brought to you by Maximum Inflation here on the Race World Offshore live stream, as well by our presenting sponsor, Performance Boat Center. We'd also like to thank Rab Beats, our Race Village sponsor, Race World Offshore. Thanking you very much, Rab Beats, for making that really cool interactive zone down there. Monster Energy's down there as well. There's all kinds of great vendors, including Tuna Skin, our official apparel outlet for Race World Offshore. A lot of other cool T-shirt outfits and food and things to drink down in the pits while you walk around and see the boats in the Rab Beats Race Village. Factory 450R boats got orange smoke. We still don't see them
right,
in
they're
a
not
counter.
Forming up yet.
They're not forming yet.
Where is the boat under tow? Is it
it's
big blue one?
It looks like the big catamaran.
It's on the screen now.
Are they offloading it?
Yeah.
It looks to me like they're pulling people off of it. So
they're gonna go ahead and bring it in. We're hearing from race control.
Okay.
So we're in another holding pattern. So they may have some issue that they've got to deal with.
Well, that's part of it. It's a boat.
So next is Super Cat. So we've had a shuffle of the cards. Factory 450R. All these classes are pretty much going to run by themselves until we get to the end. Class 1 had started Wednesday before the intermission, but because of the earlier problem, they had to go to the 12:30 start. Now Class 1 will race the last race of the day. They're down from 6 boats to 5. And the 3 VX V-bottom boats, V Extreme, will move back and race with Class 1, as well as the lone Extreme boat, the JBS team that is running unopposed. So you'll have 9 boats starting in that last race. So all of these major APBA national class groups will run all by themselves out there. It makes it a lot easier, Billy, when you're not running through traffic. And certainly for the fans, it's going to be super easy the next 3 races because it's all one class racing at one time.
Yeah, I think that was the best decision they could make, is get those big, fast 150-mile-an-hour boats away from the ones running the mid-90s today with those Mod Vs. And just let them have their own race, because the Mod Vs they're aggressive all over the place. And then, it's hard to adjust when the Mod Vs running 90, mid-90s, whatever it is. And then you're coming at them at 150, not knowing where they're going to go. So I think that was a real good decision. The VX boats will be running the 120s today, so they're closer to their speed, and I think it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Plus the visibility, you can you're in a big boat, you can see another big boat easier, especially with spray and everything in a turn. It would be real easy to miss a 30-footer, low profile.
We were put in that class with our fountains against the not against them, but with the Class 1 boats, and I'll tell you what, man, when they pass you, and we're running 95 or 100 and they blow by you, it's it'll raise a hair sometimes. But I think it was a real good decision. And I think the Mod V guys probably thought the same thing, as well as the Class 1 guys.
Well, it is the World Championship, and you want to give everyone the best opportunity they can have to fight it out fairly.
Yeah, 100%.
And not have strange elements come into play to disrupt a good competition.
Yeah, and this was good water for those Mod V guys. They love this stuff. When it gets bumpy like that, it's some stiff competition in that class with all those guys. No one in that class is a slacker. Everyone there runs hard every time, and so, good racing, good finish, and one stuff, I guess. And those guys are okay. I talked to Relentless, Team Latacrete there. Those are some of our guys. Team Woody, we sponsor them too. And so I went over and talked to them, and they said they're okay, the boat's okay, and we'll race another day.
Yeah, they just, you stand it up that high and come down, that the impact can do strange things to the carburetor, and they just couldn't get it to fire.
I'll tell you what, Rob Hartman and Chris Uzi, they were some maniacs in that thing, and so they were running it to the very edge, I'm sure, and that's why, you get in those situations. Those waves come out of nowhere sometimes. You're going out, and you think you can see everything, and then all of a sudden there's a hole in front of you that you don't expect, and then, you're upside down or you're backwards or sideways or something.
Well, I asked Steve Kildall, and I said, so, you've been coming here for a while. Was this a situation where you're saying to Steven, okay, it's coming, and then he's been coming here a while now too, and they both set up for that first, oops, here it comes.
Yeah, we're waiting for it. I think today's the only time Chad and I have actually correctly pulled our tape, and it's because we couldn't wait for this race to finish. We didn't want to run an extra lap. We usually give extra laps, because we're just whatever, but I was like, no, that's 5. We're good. Let's get out of here,
But speaking of a legendary name that you just come across in the pits, I mean, I've seen Bobby Ciceni in the pits, but Steve Stepp, the original founder of Velocity Powerboats.
Is he here?
Is here with his wife.
Wow.
And he just told me his daughter bought the Velocity Big Red. And they're going to put fresh power in it. And so they're going to keep the original 100-mile-an-hour velocity in the family. Pretty cool.
That is cool.
The history from this, they just you can't get away from it. You just want to keep, you stay involved somehow. I mean, I've been covering it since the early '90s. I still want to cover it. I've been doing this for gosh knows how long.
Down here doing this, it's fun. It's one of the boat racing, and then another point of view to talk about these other guys.
And then I ran into Rick Bolt fame yesterday. He used to be down here every year, and the great thing is they just want to talk racing and boats,
Right.
And you're seeing a lot more of the presence of the Florida Powerboat Club boats here from the Poker Run, the Miami Key West Poker Run. 200 boats. They had 3 starts, different start days this year.
Yeah, that is a lot of poker runs. If you look down on the harbor over here by the island, you can see a bunch of them sitting over here. Fleet, they got dumpy in that one. There's a whole lot of boats. Yeah.
Now this looks to me like pulling.
They might be putting them as this.
Or they almost now they're going.
I'll tell you what, those guys down there in that they're burning up. It was really
warm in condition.
It's ridiculous, and that canopy just hanging out.
Yeah, the is gonna take that catamaran, the Sebago sail cover, and they're gonna hold it in the middle of the course so we can get this race going.
My goodness! And while we have a moment while they're continuing to work on that boat, we let. For the Samuels house here in Key West.
I heard from Matt Trulio this morning. They reached their goal. They $200,000, including the match donation from the J.R. Noble Foundation. So that is just a great job by Matt and Jason and everyone involved to really help that organization. I met a few of the women from the organization last night, and I think it's just great what they're doing.
Doing great work here in our community. What a wonderful event. And kudos to Yvonne Aleman and Greg Harris for helping to spearhead this with Matt Trulio and Jason Johnson. Have put so many hundreds of thousands of dollars back into our community, helping those in need through Samuel's House. We thank you from the bottom of our heart here from Key West. Awesome night last night. Green Street was closed out in front of the Pickles, and had a couple of big boats out there, including the Monster Energy 438 Skater. Super event, and what a great fundraiser it was.
And then just up the street was all the goings on for the Florida Powerboat Club and their event. So this really does take over this little town for a few days.
Yeah, and then tomorrow night you have the street party where all of the boats are going to be lined up on Lower Duval. Green Street's going to be closed again, and you can walk up and down Lower Duval and then on down to the Florida Powerboat Club's Poker Run Village at the Concord Public Seafood Company and see all of the great equipment there. I can't even begin to imagine how many millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that are on display just in that event. But even beyond that, all that are here for the FPC Poker Run and the Key West World Championships. And then the X Insurance is back on Saturday with the Boots and Boats concert, another great concert at the Coffee Butler Amphitheater. Go to RaceWorld.Offshore.com to secure tickets and for the full schedule of events for the 42nd Annual Key West World Championships presented by Performance Boat Center. X Insurance, we certainly immensely are appreciative of their participation here. They have the Helicam that's flying around for our coverage of the event here on the live stream as well. They're the hospitality sponsor here. You can, those of you that have VIP tickets are heading into the X Insurance VIP zone for watching the race and having some cool libations and great food here on Friday and Sunday. We salute you, X Insurance. I mean,
we are still in a red flag. The pace boat is flying the red flag down in.
Yeah, the U.S. Coast Guard is still by that big catamaran, and we still don't see a mill yet. This is a delay that I'm sure organizers were hoping what wasn't going to happen. I mean, you're getting 4 races in this afternoon, and the sooner we get them underway, the better. Choppers up there burning fuel. You want them to go and then get back and start the Super Cats so that we can have a slight intermission. We'll do the award ceremony between the races for Factory 450R and Super Cat, and that'll be the Southernmost Continental Championship. We award a different championship each day. Wednesday, and we do it today, and we'll do it again on Sunday. But the podiums won't be out here on Sunday. They'll be up on the main stage at the major award ceremony at the Coffee Butler Amphitheater. But we'll be back out with the Coconut Man and handing out trophies. And somebody might be opening one up and putting some El Bandito tequila in there, like Steve Miklos did. When you have a sponsor like that, I mean, yeah, it just goes well with coconut milk.
You're kind of obligated to do that, you know.
Do you think Papa's Pilar ever found its way in any of
I'm
that?
sure it did.
I got to find me one of those sponsors.
Yeah.
I got to hats off to these poker run guys and gals coming down here from Miami, or where they come out, and I'm not sure they expected this water this morning when they got around the corner either. And I went to the airport to pick Madison up last night about 4 o'clock, and there was some of them coming across there, and it was looked like a pretty good ride coming across the end of the island down there.
Yeah, I saw a few late yesterday, and it was already starting to change around, and yeah, there was some bounce. We've had certainly worse years weather-wise, but we're in about a 15-minute delay, which is holding up progress of getting these second set of races
almost
underway.
Makes me wonder if that big catamaran lost its anchor or something, because I'm sure it's got windlasses and you just hit a button to drop it.
And the Coast Guard
still on the opposite side.
Still on the opposite side and trying to get that situation
basically
controlled.
Acting as a tug.
Hey, how about that flyover here on Veterans Day as we salute the United States Armed Forces and the veterans out there? The Sundowners from the United States Navy at Boca Chica. Excellent job of Larry Blyle of Race World Offshore to put that together with that flyover. It was pretty cool.
That was very cool. And it was interesting when they were talking during the break, and Larry was talking about the podiums and how, like, you can actually see who the people are. It reminds me of the Formula One races where the top 3 guys, as soon as the race is over, they're out of their car and they're over at a microphone talking to the crowd. So I think, anytime you can take off the helmet and see and learn more about who's running the boats, it just gives it that much more of a personal feel, which is nice. You kind of see what's driving these people. Everyone kind of has a different reason why they're out here.
I still haven't figured that out yet. What's driving me to do this, but Sure is fun. That's all I know.
I do believe that Todd, after this week, is going to have a new favorite superhero, and that will be the Coconut Man.
You notice how I stand on the other side of the stage.
So
now,
maybe he's a super villain for Todd, actually,
Yeah,
his arch
well,
nemesis.
He was getting thirsty out there and did offer up a freshly cut coconut for himself with the El Bandito tequila. Steve Miklos was pouring. Of course, that's his boat sponsor. But, no, it's a fun thing. Everybody loves it. And great that we could bring it to you here on the broadcast and on the live stream. Again, we're in about a 15-minute delay right now, as U.S. Coast Guard is undetermined exactly what's going on with the vessel that one right there that they're having trouble with, and they pulled it to the center of the course. And the factory 450R guys are just all sitting out there waiting for the mill. You're listening to the live coverage here on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio from the Porte Performance Broadcast Center. Over 30 years of pioneering advancement in outboard propulsion and positioning systems. Porte Performance. We build performance into everything. A live stream brought to you by Maximum Inflation brand CO2 cartridges. Gas for everything.
Looks like they're
They
inflatable.
they threw an anchor over the starboard side there.
Yes.
Yeah, they're waiting for the anchor to slide. You can see it instead of going out the front, the bow. It's on the starboard side there. If you look closely.
Yeah, I see it now.
So that's what they threw out there initially when they first set. They saw them.
It's right in front of the A and Terralini.
Absolutely, that's where it is, and that's what happens. Just waiting for that anchor to get set, and then we'll get going.
I'll tell you right now, this is a hard place to anchor up.
Coral.
It's hard bottom. There's also a lot of soot. And you look across at the spectator fleet, they're all laying to the south pretty well, but occasionally you'll see a boat just out of nowhere and it'll catch a current and it'll start swinging towards the course. And U.S. Coast Guard has their hands full managing that. It is, for those that know, coming to the harbor and do tarpon fishing, which is world class here in Key West, it can be a very difficult place to throw an anchor, but that's obviously a whole different deal with a big vessel like that.
We are back to a yellow on the pace boat by the looks of it. You can see it in the lower left-hand part of the screen there, right off of TS Motorsports bow. So it looks like I'm not seeing any flag.
Race World Offshore would also like to thank the Tourist Development Council. They are invaluable in their support of Race World Offshore's championship. And their dedication to the community helps bring this thrilling spectacle, but also a celebration of the Florida Keys, its oldest event dating back to 1964. Also, Sunoco, our significant sponsor for fuel sponsorship in the Race World Offshore World Championship, providing high-quality fuel services to participants and attendees, is very noteworthy, and we value their partnership and support. Also like to thank Hyatt Centric, Marriott Beachside Resort, Margaritaville Resort, Doubletree, Opal Key Resort and Marina, Sunbelt, Waste Management, Maximum Inflation, Tukong Sports Fishing, Airport Authority, Signs Unlimited, Tetsu Republic, and 4-Star Rentals.
And they are forming up. They're lining them up. So
102nd start for the Cigarette Hawk there. 102nd in its history right there on this start right here.
I thought they busted 100 recently. And look at that. They're lining them up. Here we go. We're ready to go racing one more time. It's the Key West World Championships, the 42nd annual, presented by Performance Boat Center. Factory 450R ready to run. 7 laps here today, just over 33 miles. As we look at the TS Motorsports team, they're on the outside. Here comes the green flag. The race is on. Allez vite. Let's go fast, ladies and gentlemen.
And look at GC go again.
So GC Racing off to the early lead. They won on Wednesday. That's Hank Saloon on the inside line as they head out to the more turbulent waters out at turn number 1. 3-pin turn at turn number 1. Then they'll head eastbound towards turn 2, a 2-pin turn, just off Fort Zachary Taylor from the X Insurance Helicam.
They're going to come into the bump about right now, too.
Yep, that's where we saw in the last race for sure. It really started to get better. Now, the tide should have slacked off a little bit and finished its run out. So that's
like you would think. You'd think Lee Murray would know.
And he does. Guaranteed. If you got to have somebody in the boat, it's a local Key Wester in Lee Murray.
But GC is right back out front with Torrente and Cabeza. They're in the turn, and no one really took a flyer there. But
They're about to.
Yeah, yeah. Every time you get past that big expedition-looking yacht is usually where it starts to.
There we go. They're slowed down, too, quite a bit. They're trying to ride that boat over them just right so it doesn't get, up in the air.
Being very careful with it, trying to fly it as flat as possible, and they seem to be bridging the waves pretty well here.
Well, they are 39 feet, so these are the biggest boats we've seen in this yet, except for Batman and Predator, but that was calmer this morning, wasn't it?
A little high on the left side there.
Yep.
They're the widest tunnel of the APBA national classes, 72 inches, even wider than the Super Cats.
Now the wave angle is going to change here on them coming back down into the harbor.
Yep.
See how wide he went out there, trying to get over closer to the beach to some calmer water. What is that?
Let's see.
Is that Hanks?
That's Hanks on the inside, but I wonder if that was that's a Doug Wright.
It looks like GC.
I wonder if it's Doug. It's 96.
They're pretty reasonably keeping the boats glued to the water, considering. And it appears it could be 96.
It could be Gladiator
there, or it could be Gladiator. It is Gladiator Canados. GC Racing has the early lead coming into the Monster Energy Drink fan zone here off the Truman Annex Outer Mole. GC with the early lead.
Gladiator Canados.
Michel Carcente from France, and then
third.
Marine Technology TS Motorsports is in third.
Hanks is in fourth.
Yep. And 151 is running in fourth.
And here's Doug Wright in sixth.
And now that lap will set the pace. Now they know what to expect out there. So that first time you're always nervous. They'll probably speed up now. Now they know what to expect.
Because Gladiator the other day, who's on our camera now, was out charging toward the front, and they took a huge flyer. There's pictures all over social media.
And there's your leader in Factory 450R. That's Willie Gabeza and Sean Torrente, your winner from Wednesday in GC Racing. That's a 39 MTI with the twin 450R Mercury Racing engines built on the same block as the 300R, but it's supercharged. All that extra torque and horsepower, 150 plus. Great shot from the X Insurance Helicam over the top of GC Racing. What a beautiful livery on that boat.
And here's the Gladiator Canados. Is it Canados?
Canados.
And we learned the other day that Michel Carcente actually owns that boat company over in France. And Scott Conrad, a very well-known name in high-performance boating, is a dealer down here for him.
And looking at your leader heading out now to turn number one, it seemed as if that water didn't have the edge that it had a little over an hour ago. And I know these are catamarans and longer, but generally, boy, if it's rough there at the mouth of the harbor, you can see the boats getting air.
Drag race right there between Hanks and 151 Express. They went all the way out of the harbor, side by side, into that turn.
Okay, so 151 could have just made up a spot.
Around them,
yeah, they could.
They had a very good run on Wednesday.
They were side by side, those guys, all the way back out until they got to that point right there when the water stepped up.
Yep, they definitely looked like they moved forward
on
the grid.
Your setup in this water has got to be 2 or 3 different things here. You can be super quick coming out of here and then not fast out there, or you can be slow coming out of the harbor where it's smooth and then fast on the deep water. So it's a challenge to figure out what you want to do with the boat, because the water's not very big here, but out there it is.
Yep, and now
you're kind of picking and choosing your poison in a way.
It's the lesser of two evils on what you want to do.
Looking overhead at your top 2 boats on the outside there, that's GC Racing, the MTI on the inside. It's the 38 Doug Wright.
Whoa.
And now he's coming out because he has the line
he took
to turn number 2. There at Fort Zachary Taylor on the inside now, that's GC Racing. And Canados goes to the outside, closest to the shore.
And that's the one thing that Willie did tell me the other day is that Sean is so dialed into all the the technical inside the boat, but also Sean has a driving school, so he can communicate very well with his driver on where to put the boat to be its most efficient, and they just defended that line
and that's
there.
A legal move right there.
Yeah.
That's their turn. They were the front boat as far as they know. They can't see anything other than what their camera has. And so if you're side by side, you can't see those guys. So, that was 100% legal turn.
GC is still in the lead. Gladiator.
In second. Into the
Here's
Monster.
TS in third again.
So GC Racing continuing to lead. Gladiator Canados second.
Fourth now.
Motorsports.
151 moved up to fourth. Doug Wright fifth. So
Hanks is definitely off the speed.
And Hanks is in sixth. So
that's Edwin Shear of Miami, a longtime powerboat racer, along with Key Wester Lee Murray in that 38 Doug Wright. All 6 boats running out on the first lap.
And here's the TS Motorsports with John Tomlinson and Taylor Sissom coming out. Is that coming out of Key West?
Yep, that's
they're coming
on
out.
the Key West Harbor turn. There they are right there.
That's a real slippery turn down there. It's super smooth. The turnout in 1 and 2 is gigantic water. The turn in the harbor is nothing. It's completely flat down there.
Yeah, GC Racing running beautifully for the second straight race. It was the first podium for Willie Cabeza, and it was the first place finish for him. I mean, boy, he was sky high the other day. Putting Sean Torrente in the boat. I'm told that Sean Torrente will be back racing next year with Meade Family Racing.
Okay, so that'll leave a seat open.
Yep, for Willie. There they go, heading back out to turn number 1. Seems like these boats are negotiating this water pretty well.
It's just a matter of can someone reel in somebody else, and it looks like they're holding station right about now as far as the gaps in between.
Back in third, that's TS Motorsports, Marine Technologies 39, your reigning world champ in Factory 450R, the leader of this sport. Helped put it together, Taylor Sissom of MTI, along with Johnny Tomlinson, the great throttle-man veteran, world champion of over 24 worlds in his career in various classes. We look again at your overall leader now, the Carcente boat from France. Michel got a little air there as they got out of the water, props out of the water. Of course, you want to keep the props in the water.
Yep.
And keep that boat moving forward as Torrente settles it down. And Cabeza on the wheel will now bring it up to the pin and turn it into the harbor. It's a 2-pin turn at number 2, coming in on lap number 3 of 7. GC Racing appears to have extended their lead very slightly over Gladiator Canados.
And that's just that forward progress.
Canados was on him last time around turn 2. This time, like you said, it's
right.
a much bigger gap there coming through.
He's going inside the course now, too.
Gladiator was able to take that inside lane that he wanted last time. He got pushed out last time,
That's
so
right.
I wonder if that's where the pace got lost and, GC had that open water, that clean water to run in.
Yeah, back into the Monster Energy fan zone. Your leaders in front of the crowds here in Key West Harbor. GC Racing continuing to lead after lap number 3 of 7 in Factory 450R.
He closed up on him, too, in that turn.
Yep.
He sure did.
Don't count him out,
And they have people on land telling them, too, and
they're spotting
communications. So
GC Racing turned that lap at 85 miles an hour. There comes Gladiator.
That's not a bad average speed for this water.
Here comes Marine Technologies in third.
Don't look now, the Express is coming up, taking a lot of space up.
Yeah, they're making the biggest move so far.
And here comes Doug Wright Powerboats. And Hank Saloon right behind them, 5 and 6 on the grid.
It's a hard day for gear cases out there today.
Hey,
Yes.
you remember that 96 boat, the red Doug Wright boat? My goodness, it was upside down in Clearwater. What a ton of work that Manatee Marine and Ricky Maldonado had to do to put that boat back together, and you can't imagine that it's running exactly as they had hoped. The boat set upside down for quite a while. GC Racing, your leader in Factory 450R. These big 450 engines, very impressive. Again, on the same block as the 300R, but the supercharger gives them all that extra horsepower, and it's the torque. Man,
if we can look back a little bit to TS, all of a sudden Johnny's
and Express is Express is pulling right along with them.
Battle for second and third right now.
Don't look at fourth. Watch fourth here. Watch that fourth place boat.
It's true.
Well, TS finished third on Wednesday, so if they could get up one spot.
They got him here. They got him going out there. Gladiator's definitely not as fast.
They just passed him on the screen.
Yep.
Remember how far back the Marine Technologies was on Wednesday. They had a bad start, and they had to move all the way they did. They moved all the way from the very back up to third to finish on the podium.
So they made their move earlier today, also starting from the same lane. So they must have taken a more aggressive approach on either 1 or 2 to get them all ready.
I almost feel like Gladiator's giving the pin to Express
It
there
looks
as well.
like he is, It looks like he's moved outside. I think he's got some problems going on in there.
A little bit of a hard launch into a wave by GC Racing. The rest of the boats
third.
The boats are passing Malia there. That's at turn 1, 3-pin turn. Now heading eastbound towards turn number 2, just off Fort Zachary Taylor.
But it sure looks like 151 is trying to.
They're on the outside of them.
Go on the outside. They just got a little light there. And
from the
this is Gladiator Canados from the X-Insurance helicopter. And we're grateful for this because we did not have this Wednesday.
Yes,
yeah, that's 2 and 3 right there.
Yep.
There's a special thanks to all of our team for working together to put together some of the snafus we had. Great work from Extreme Angles and the camera crew here. Had a nice shot of all of the racing here today. And here comes your overall leader. This is GC Racing. Willie Cabeza, Sean Torrente, and the 39 MTI into the Monster Energy fan zone. And in through lap number 4 of 7 in factory 450R. Holding 85 miles an hour again. Got that boat set in. And now
TS is up to 2.
Yeah, now in second, TS Motorsports.
Here comes Express trying to find his way.
Just in front, Gladiator Canados from France. Michel Carcente with Irvin Grant. And in third,
Catch these two in that turn on that camera. This would be a good turn right here. They just came inside of them.
Yep.
So Gladiator's
now
on the
TS
outside.
is inside of Gladiator.
Gladiator in 151 in fourth. 96 Doug Wright Powerboats holding fifth. And here comes our 6th boat. All 6 boats continuing to run.
Get in the turn.
Just over the halfway point here in this race.
Yep.
Express comes out of that turn in the lead.
There it is.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yep.
That's our shot right there. Yep. I don't know. Gladiator's pouring it on the inside, too. It's a fight right there.
This is a dogfight right here. If we can stay with this.
Yep, Gladiator's going to pull on him, and then 151 will probably pull right back. That's the prop selection right there. That's your difference in setup right there.
Yep.
One setup for big water, one setup for the smooth water in the harbor, and this is a prime example of what that looks like right here. You know, Gladiator's going to be super fast coming out, and then watch this 151 Express right here. Just walk around him because he's got a better setup for this water.
Well, and you know what? This is also, even though they're young.
That's a great shot from the camera guys right there, too.
Nick and Ian have been boating together for years out on Long Island, so it's knowing each other.
Yep.
You know, Michelle and Irvin haven't been together in a boat as long as those two have. I can almost guarantee that.
No, they're doing a great job in that Gladiator.
But I will say this, Michel Carcente has been racing for well over 20 years, very seasoned veteran. He's raced X-Cat, and he's raced here across the United States. And boy, the young guns, 151 Express, Nick Impression and Ian Morgan, they've got the right setup, and they're falling into it here as they head out to turn number 1. They've taken 3rd place from the X-Insurance Helicam, 151 Express, a podium finisher from Wednesday. So your overall leader, GC Racing.
Yep.
They're just running their own race out there. Nobody to bother them out in the front. Trying to stay in the front. You know, like you asked the other day, what do you do in this situation? Yep. They're just not letting anybody pass is their main goal right now. Just stay in the front, run your race, nice and safe, keep it in the water, and don't make any sudden movements.
And don't let your brain run away with all those little things you're hearing.
Yeah, this is a nasty turn right here.
What was that? What was that? But Sean's flying it nice and level.
Yeah.
You know, the boat has looked.
TS is close in that turn.
It's looked clean all day.
The wind has dropped down from 13 to 10, and the tide did go slack, so it was just going low at 12:30. So now we're kind of in a slack tide. I think that's showing that why the water is laying down a little bit more right now. To keep an eye on the wind conditions later on this day.
Yeah. So here comes GC. Let's see where TS is going to be.
Yeah, they're probably picking up speed, it looks like to me.
You start to hear that Johnny Tomlinson's behind you. You're going to start to probably pick it up a little bit.
He's coming in hot, too.
Yeah, he is.
There they are, Marine Technologies in second. Taylor Sism, Johnny Tomlinson. Now in third, 151 Express.
Yep. And look at the Doug Wright even trying to make up on the Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator. They're still in there, and here comes 96 Doug Wright.
Yep.
Ricky's not slacking on those throttles in there either. He's pushing Aiden all the way to the limit with that thing.
Now running third and fourth.
And Aiden Logan, I did notice today, had a wrap on his hand.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
He had gauze and a wrap on his hand, so he did something in Wednesday's race that.
Hanks is having trouble today.
Yep.
They're gonna make their laps. Look like they're maybe one motor up there. No, they got both of them on. I can see two rooster tails coming out of the turn.
Yeah, this is off camera, but GC Racing is not messing around because he just opened that up.
He sure did. Well, I think he really has it dialed in for that front straightaway. That's where he took off initially, and that's where he's really getting a lot of it. Coming back through the harbor, I think he's taking it a little bit easy and
holding
making sure.
Yep.
151 looks like they're trying to run down TS Motorsports out there.
But Wednesday was all MTI on the podiums, right?
That's correct.
So it looks like
That's where we're at right now.
I'm not saying it yet.
But
We got 2 laps left?
Yes.
yeah, 3 MTIs up front at this moment. GC Racing heading out to turn number 1.
You never want to-
heading southbound into the very the long edge of this course. It's the widest at turn 1 to 2. And overhead with the X Insurance Helicam, over top Michelle Carcente and Irving Grant, and that the beautifully prepared 38-foot Doug Wright, Gladiator Canados.
And that name on the side where it says Opak Mare, that's a European builder of the gangways and the because overseas you get on and off a boat with a gangway or what they call a passerelle. So Michelle's brought some international sponsorship with him as well. And here we see the Doug Wright boat, and those guys have a slot reserved for Class 1 for next year, and I think they may even do double duty with a brand new Doug Wright 450 boat as well.
Yeah, I heard that they had a completely brand new one that'll come out next year. What a beautifully colored boat. What a great sight it is to see running on the water. Lower profile than the MTIs, Eric.
Yep.
Well, they both run so well, and they each have their own characteristics.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, when Randy Sisson was with the Victory team,
Look at that.
Speaking of
Marine
Sisson's doing
Technology,
things.
Torrente just saw him in the rearview mirror.
Right?
Yeah, he put a little bit of gas on there because Marine Technologies was on the catch-up there.
Yeah, they're right
Catching
back door.
them coming into the Monster Energy fan zone. Well, we have a duel now for first to second. That's on the outside. GC Racing on the inside, defending world champion Marine Technologies.
Here comes GC. Oh, wow. Yeah,
They're
they've
close.
made up a lot of time.
About 4 boats back.
Yeah, GC was down to 82 miles an hour on that lap and now just trailed by seconds by TS Motorsports Marine Technologies Incorporated.
This will be decided by the turn here, who comes in and out of this turn the fastest.
Last lap on it, too.
Yep.
Now's the time to make the move.
Into the last lap, and I tell you, 151 Express gets stronger as the day goes on as well.
There we go, helicopter shot, turn
Third
1,
place
3.
goes to 151 Express. Gladiator Canados is in 4th place.
They give him any room down there?
But, you know,
Can we get in the harbor on that camera?
Yeah, the
GC came out on front.
yeah. But we're looking still at Gladiator Canados right here, I believe. But, you know, or is this Doug Wright?
That's Doug Wright coming in.
Doug
the
Wright
turn,
coming
too.
in 5th. See if we can catch the lead boats as they head back out to Key West Harbor. So GC Racing looks like they had a better turn, pulled away just a second or so.
That front straightaway has been his all day. That's where he's been dominating.
But Marine Technologies was making it up on the outside of this course, where they're heading right now.
And that's the one thing yes, we all agree Johnny Tomlinson is the best or one of the best, but think about the abilities that Taylor has built in the last 3 years at the wheel of that boat.
She's doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. There's no denying that. And again, it's just the thought of Johnny Tomlinson. It's like, Jordan's coming up behind you. Come on now,
Yeah, but even if you look at the deck of that MTI, that's all aerodynamically designed. When he was at the Victory team, I think Randy actually worked a little bit with Boeing engineers designing the decks of those Class 1 boats just to get maximum aerodynamic efficiency out of them. So nice when you have those resources.
Absolutely.
All right, so GC Racing continues to lead. This is the final stretch, final time around the wall and heading towards turn number 2.
Can they close it?
This is where he made up the room last time, 1 and 2.
Cabeza and Torrente.
They're probably bending the throttles coming down this straightaway right here.
Here they come, making their approach.
They sure look like
they're going to catch them.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Turn that. There you go, right here. Here they go. They're going to get them.
He's on the inside.
Oh, they got him. They're going to get the turn.
He sure is.
Marine Technologies looks like they have edged in. They're on the inside line. Who's going to get there first? It appears that Marine Technologies may have gained an advantage.
Did she
Now she's got to hold it.
Oh, he's right there.
Pushing to the outside.
Boy.
No?
Here we come.
It looks like Marine Technologies may have gotten around.
They're
got
on the
to
inside.
the inside.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they
inside,
did.
yeah.
They did. They got around them and pushed CG Racing to the outside.
Oh, boy,
the
what a
crafty KG veteran of John Tomlinson on the throttles
He
has come around on the last lap as they come into the Monster Energy fan zone. This is your finish for Factory 450R, and your winner today come from behind win for Marine Technologies Incorporated. Taylor Sism, John Tomlinson, your winners here today.
What a race, man. What a race.
Talk about a showdown for Sunday.
GC Racing led all the way, falls back to second. Willie Cabeza on the podium again with Sean Tarente. Big win for Taylor Sism and John Tomlinson, your reigning world champions in the Factory 450R class.
They caught up every inch of that race in that rough water.
That's absolutely huge for the
Between
point
one and
Yeah,
standings.
but look at this. One of the Doug Wrights is around. No, yeah.
Oh, Gladiator got
Gladiator
an Express.
Yes. Oh, he did.
Granados got third.
Boy, the savvy veteran from France, Michel Carcente, gets around the young guns of 151 Express, and Gladiator Granados is now in third to finish the day on podium.
Michel Carcente just fed me my words for lunch.
It happens.
Yeah.
Hope he put a nice sauce on it for you.
Wow, that makes the standings
Well, if
10-point
it's French,
difference
it would
there
be
for
truffle,
TS
right?
Motorsports.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
Taylor and Johnny went from 6th place starting to fought their way to first place win.
And the
Good job.
96, Doug Wright, with Logan Adon and Ricky Maldonado finishes up in 5th. And finishing up in 6th, we just saw Hank Saloon coming. All 6 boats coming through for the win today. The final overall average speed, the entire course, was 89 miles an hour today in Factory 450R. And your winner today is Marine Technologies, the TS Motorsport. Taylor Sism with John Tomlinson. Here's Hank Saloon. That's Lee Murray and Edwin Shear. They take 6th here today, all 6 boats.
Well, they were running hard, too. Wonder what happened there.
And Willie Cabeza is going to be seeing John Tomlinson in his nightmares for the next 2 nights.
Yeah, well, he won't be the first one.
I don't think think Sean will, because Sean, say what you will, the boy does not lack confidence.
He does not. He does not.
That really opens the door. Whoever wins between those two is
Yep.
pretty much your world champion. It's a 10-point difference going into the next race on Sunday, so it really doesn't matter. They might as well be tied right now where they're at.
That's the way it should be. You know, just right down to the, just battle it out.
Yep. Well, the Express holds an outside shot there to really upset some things and could come in with a win on. They need a win and help for the Express, but otherwise it's a 2-boat race between TS Motorsports and that GC Racing after that today.
Yeah, exciting racing there. TS Motorsports coming back from back at 3rd. And, remember, they have the outside position on the start. So they fight their way up, and by lap number 4, they're up to 2. And then on the very last lap, they pull around GC Racing that had the lead all day long. Also, kudos to Michel Carcente, Gladiator Granados, as they they gave up 2nd and then fell back to 4th. And then, 151 Express had been running well the last 3 laps of the race, and they got around them to finish ahead of them and finish on the podium.
Gladiator was right there on that one turn, that one time on turn 2, almost had the lead there on GC. Another 100 yards, they might have actually been able to take him over because you see that GC just had trouble between 1 and 2. They had the front straightaway, they were the dominant boat, but in the back straightaway, the backside there between 1 and 2, they struggled. That's where TS really had it zoned in. And the Gladiator said they were right there, so great run for them as well.
Yeah, that could be a multitude of things: prop selection, weight selection, where they have it distributed in the boat, how they're set up. And there's lots of things out there. But again, this is like a 3-race course out here,
And you had to take your guesses where you take them.
That's
you know?
Yeah, we look at your winner here today. That's the Marine Technologies TS Motorsports. Taylor Sism and Johnny Tomlinson.
The look on Taylor's face this morning when she drew lane 6 again.
Yeah, it was like
she just was like, "Oh, you're kidding."
Sometimes lane 6 isn't that bad. They ask us all the time, "Do you want the pole? Do you want outside?" And I really, honestly, don't ever want the pole position. You get to that turn and you're squeezed in. You have to slow down so much, and then all of a sudden you're in last place. So sometimes I like being in the middle on the outside.
Get that cleaner water is sometimes better.
Yeah, absolutely, that's right.
One thing for sure is teams might be kind of going back and looking now from what they saw earlier when Mod V was running, when the bracketed boats were running. Now you see the wind's down a little bit. Although I mean it's expected to be kind of in this range, maybe gusting up a little bit more. It's about 3 miles an hour slower. But the big difference is the tide was running out this morning when you guys were running right into that. Now it's starting to turn back and come back into the harbor. And these boats, they handled it, although there was some bounce. they handled it very well.
They
Wouldn't you
did a
agree?
great job in that water, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, even with Supercat, I'm looking at it, and if you're lane 2 or 3, in a way, you might be better off because lane 1 is so tight in.
That's right.
But then you kind of set what lane 2 and 3 are.
Yeah, it just depends.
And
Depends
then-
on who's pushing who in that game, you know. I mean,
And
it's
Liquor Split is lane 2, but Graydell is lane 3.
this
and
is going to be some great water today.
Yeah, they finished second on Wednesday.
They did, yes, sir.
So
And it's anybody's game with these Supercats, man. These guys, they
Yeah.
went into that first turn. They were pretty lined up, all of them together yesterday. And so, you know, again, it's going to come down to their selection of wheels and what they want to do because, you know, it's a fast and it's a slow course here. So what's going to happen?
But look at 9 and 10.
9 and 10.
MCon
and
is
WHM.
lane 9. WHM all the way from the outside.
And they moved all the way to 3 because you had CR Racing took a penalty lap, missing a buoy on the race the other day on Wednesday.
Right, but they did a lane draw this morning.
I'm just saying, but WHM